Hey everybody, in today's video we're going to be looking at the 1999 British Grand Prix in which Ronnie Coleman took the first place title, Flex Wheeler took second place, and Kevin Levrone placed third. This is definitely one of my favorite shows of all time because you had some of the best legends, of all time at this show in some phenomenal conditioning. And I've really always wanted to do a review of this show for as long as I could remember. I mean, I used to watch videos of, Tominator, all these other channels would do videos on the Grand Prix. And I thought, maybe I'd do a take on it as well. In this video, I'm going to be focusing specifically on the top three of this show, which I mentioned earlier was Ronnie Coleman, Flex Wheeler, and Kevin Levrone. And I'm just going to look at, their overall conditioning, the flow that they have, and I'm just going to talk about, what I like and what I dislike in each of their physiques, in each pose. The quarter turns here look phenomenal for all these gentlemen. I mean, you can't pick them apart here. I mean, look at Flex Wheeler. His midsection is amazing, but so is Kevin Levroni's, and Ronnie Coleman's looks like it's in check. Look at the backs. Oh my goodness, the backs look phenomenal for all of them. And look at the hamstrings on Ronnie Coleman. Not to mention, look at the calves on all of them. They all have phenomenal calves, something we don't really see that often today. And wow, that back, the Christmas tree on all of them. From the side, I really admire Flex Wheeler's midsection. But I mean, look at Kevin Levroni's arm from the side. It is just massive. It is huge. And look at Ronnie Coleman's chest. It is crazy. I mean, this is a phenomenal showing by all these men. Look at the quads on Ronnie. I mean, that's crazy. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we're gonna have to go into the mandatory shots to really see that, and we're gonna go in right now. Going into the first shot, the front double bicep shot, all these men look phenomenal. I mean, I'm immediately drawn to Flex Wheeler's midsection. Look how tiny it is, guys, and look at those abs. Amazing. Now, I will say his belly button is kind of unaesthetically pleasing, but that's such a minor detail. Now, the lats. I mean, look at Kevin and Ronnie. Flaring lats for days. I mean, Flex Wheeler has them too, but his lats appear to be smaller. Now, if we look at the quads, I mean, oh my goodness, the lighting at this show was phenomenal. I mean, the quads look great on all of them. Honestly, Flex Wheeler looks to have the best, but Ronnie Coleman's are huge too, and Kevin Levrone probably takes the third place in the quads. Now, if we go to the midsections, like I said, Flex Wheeler, easy win, and probably a good second place for Kevin Levrone. The arms, I mean, wow, look at the arms on, look at the arms on all of them. I'd probably have to give the arms to Ronnie Coleman because they just look to be the biggest. I mean, look at the biceps, and then I'd probably have to give it to Flex because look at those huge biceps and triceps. Look how full they are, and Kevin would probably place last in the arms, even though they are tremendous and huge. Just, not as much separation and not not the same level of peaks on them. But man, these guys look amazing in the front double bicep. Yeah, guys. I mean, it's unfortunate that I don't have a full free shot of these guys hitting the front lat spread, nor a, real picture. So this is what we're gonna have to deal with. And, it's a video, so it's not gonna be the best quality, but I mean, look at them here. They have phenomenal conditioning, and the lighting in this show makes them look crazy. Now, since I don't have a shot of Ronnie Coleman, I mean, we do all know Ronnie Coleman won this show, right? And he would probably have the best front lat spread. So if I'm gonna choose between Flex and Kevin, they both look good here. We can't really see their lats, but I mean, Kevin does appear to be a bit wider, but look at that 3D bubbliness on Flex. It is crazy. And they seem to have very similar, development in the quads and the calves. I'd probably give this shot to Kevin, but I mean, look at the midsection on Flex. Look how tiny it is and those big arms. But I think that, Kevin may have a better front lat spread pose overall. But I mean, either way, this is a close one, guys. We're going to have to go to the next pose. So you guys might have actually noticed that I put Ronnie Coleman in this shot with these guys because in the video footage, it pans to Ronnie Coleman. So there's not a full shot of all three of them together. Now, if we look at them, I mean, look at these guys. They look phenomenal, like I've said probably 1,000 times. Look at the hamstring on Flex Wheeler. And look at that side leg on Kevin and Ronnie. Amazing. I mean, Ronnie Coleman probably has the densest upper body, in my opinion, probably the most conditioned as well. I mean, look at the far pec in the arms, striations for days. And neither of the other two gentlemen can compete with Ronnie Coleman in the upper body, in my opinion. Now, Flex Wheeler has some amazing arms, probably the best arms from the side here. They look huge and bubbly, ridiculous to a certain extent, too, cartoonish, if I say. But I mean, the chest isn't as striated as Ronnie's, and Kevin Levrone has one of the best side chest poses, in my opinion, but the arm doesn't seem to be as conditioned as, Flex or Ronnie. And I mean, the side leg is huge, but Yeah, I don't know. The chest also seems to be a little lackluster in terms of conditioning, but I say lackluster relative to these men because this is just a phenomenal package by all three of them. So let's move to the side tricep because this is just crazy. In the rear double bicep shot, you guys can see that I've once again linked two pictures together from free shots of the video because, like, again, they panned in the video footage to them. They don't have all three of them at once. So if we look at the backs of these guys, I mean, Ronnie Coleman runs away with the back. He has a density and thickness that neither of these two other men have, and he also has superb conditioning in the upper body and the lower body. Flex Wheeler doesn't seem to have the same level of conditioning that Kevin or Ronnie Coleman have in the lower body. Could be posing, or it could be conditioning. Now, if we look at the backs themselves, I'd probably go Ronnie, then Flex, then Kevin, because Flex seems to have a better, lower back region. Ronnie Coleman has a very, very good lower back region, and Kevin Levroni's lower back seems to be a little bit shallow in comparison. Now, the arms, all three of the men have amazing arms, and I'd probably give the arms to Ronnie Coleman, even though Flex Wheeler's arms look a lot more bubbly and full. And then Kevin would probably place last just because of how they're full and they're big, but they just lack the bicep peak from the back. But I will say, Kevin Levroni's traps and his shoulders are ridiculous. They are crazy. And his hamstrings are pretty good here, too. Now let's go to the next shot. This is the first freeze frame of the rear lat spread, picturing Ronnie Coleman and Flex Wheeler. And Flex Wheeler and Ronnie Coleman have some pretty good dense backs here, but Ronnie Coleman definitely has the width advantage over Flex Wheeler because, I mean, Flex Wheeler was never that wide, and also he was pretty, unsymmetrical in the rear lat spread. The legs for Ronnie Coleman we already know are crazy. He probably isn't snapping the shot rather to the best of his abilities in this freeze frame. I probably freezed it a bit too early, but we know his hamstrings and glutes are crazy. Flex Wheeler's glutes and hamstrings don't look too bad here. And let's go to Kevin Levrone. Oh man, Kevin looks amazing here too. He looks shredded to the bone in this shot. He's definitely snapping this shot at the right time of this video. I mean, look at the hamstrings and glutes. They are just peeled to the bone, and the calves look tremendous. And look at the back itself. That lower back region, which I said was a little shallow, doesn't look too shallow anymore. His back definitely isn't the best in terms of these three. He might be beating Flex in terms of the width and the symmetry, and the traps look really good too. I mean, all three of them looked great in this shot, but Ronnie Coleman definitely took this pose very handily. And it's a battle between Flex and Kevin for second place, definitely. Oh man, guys, have you ever seen Ronnie Coleman look so good in the side tricep pose? I mean, his tricep doesn't even look like a weakness here. His midsection is really flush and tight, and his side leg is just cut up like crazy. The cuts in his leg are just phenomenal. Now, Flex Wheeler definitely has the edge over Ronnie Coleman. No matter how good Ronnie Coleman looks in this shot, Flex Wheeler definitely takes the tricep department. I mean, he will always have a better tricep, and the shoulder is probably just as good as Ronnie Coleman's. Midsection, amazing, and leg looks crazy too. Let's go take a look at Kevin as well. So here we get a quick look at Kevin Levrone in the transition of the side tricep pose. And man, look at the cut through his leg, the separation between the hamstring and the quad. Very good, almost comparable to Ronnie Coleman. Now, the tricep is definitely better than Ronnie Coleman's, in my opinion. And the midsection looks great too. Chest, amazing, everything good. I'd say that Kevin is probably battling Ronnie Coleman for the second place against Flex Wheeler in this shot and probably is coming out on top. So I'm going to take this abs and thigh shot one at a time, starting with Kevin Levrone here, and he is obviously posing the best in this freeze frame. And look at him, man! Look at the serratus on him. Look at the obliques, and look at the midsection. I mean, crazy, crazy genetics on this man. Chest looks amazing, striations everywhere. Arm is huge. You can't really see the quad. I mean, it's not really a abs and thigh shot. I don't really know what to call this. It's a twisting abs and thigh shot, I guess. But the side leg looks great for him, and we'll see a conventional abs and thigh shot later on. All right, here's Flex Wheeler, and man, I've always thought he looks a little bit narrow in his abs and thigh shot. I mean, look at the huge arms, but really no V taper in terms of the lats. I don't know if it's posing error, whatever, I'm not sure, but the midsection really tiny and amazing. I mean, the conditioning on all these gentlemen is just crazy. The abs are great, and the quads phenomenal, crazy. I've said phenomenal so many times because this is probably one of the best shows, with these top caliber bodybuilders and everything. It's just it blows my mind of how good these guys were. Now let's go to Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie, never known for a abs and thigh shot here, but I mean his serratus, obliques, midsection looks pretty good. Looks pretty tight, and his quads always look amazing. Like I said, all three of these men have amazing conditioning, and we'll see. Kevin Levrone in a more conventional abs and thigh really quickly, and I'll say he looks really good. I'll say that I think it's probably Flex Wheeler versus Kevin Levrone in the abs and thigh shot, and personally, I prefer Kevin Levrone just because of the V taper. Ronnie Coleman probably third place, but none of them look really bad in this shot. All of them present a relatively good package. So that about does it for my 1999 British Grand Prix review. And this was definitely one of my most fun videos to make. I mean, I love this show. Watching the video footage again just reminded me of how crazy the lighting was and how conditioned these guys were back in the day. And, it's crazy to think about how genetically gifted all the top bodybuilders were back in the 90s. I mean, they had insanely deep lineups back then. Now, I will say, I think Ronnie Coleman was winning a majority of the poses, like the front double bicep, both back shots, the side chest, and probably the front lat spread if we had a shot of it. Kevin Levrone and Flex were definitely battling it out for second, and that's obviously true because Flex placed second and Kevin placed third. This wasn't really a, serious video on my part. It was more so like a fanboying video about how crazy these guys were back in the day. I mean, I love all three of these guys, people I look up to in terms of, my own fitness journey, and I really do admire what they brought to the stage in 1999. Now, I will say that I probably, am not the best to judge this competition because I don't have the correct photos. I don't have these HD quality photos of the show. It's hard to make these judgments. All I know is that Ronnie Coleman won, Flex took second, and Kevin took third. So if you guys like the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It really means a lot to me when you guys do. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I think it's possible with your guys' help. Now, comment down below what you thought of this video. It actually means a lot to me, especially with this video, because I want to know what you guys think about, my take and what you guys think of this competition. I think it's a great competition. Once again, thank you for watching. If you guys have any future ideas, I forgot to mention that. If you guys have any future video ideas, let me know in the comments. And with that being said, have a good day or night, and I'll see you guys in the next one.